Hit that like button, just like Tyson.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do. Flip out!
What's that word? What's that word, family?
Pressure, pressure.
We back again, and we also applying the pressure.
I apply the pressure.
Hey man, check this out.
I apply the pressure.
I want y'all to say what's up. I want y'all to give a loud applause. I want y'all to say what's happening to my panel tonight. And guess who we got up in the building? Guess who we got in the building with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen? We got Mr. Charles Woods, community activist. We also got the sister, Marley G, man, the whole professional. That's a G behind the sheets. Oh, man. Hey, but look, check this out, y'all. We got a whole lot of topics that we need to confront because a lot of things been going on, and we ain't been able to even say nothing because it's been since Juneteenth and the 4th of July. So we got Black Independence Day and American Independence Day, which, guess what? I'm gonna let y'all know later, and when I let y'all know this, but something else going on the 4th of July that we need to know about because it's a new trend going on the 4th of July. If you don't know, now you know. You heard it first from us. Now, Charles Woods, how was your week? What you been doing, brother?
My week was great, man. I don't have no complaints. Like I say, Juneteenth, 4th of July. Juneteenth, I celebrated with family. And 4th of July continuously still recognizing that the black man and woman wasn't free. We wasn't independent during the 4th of July. We were still enslaved. We were still being oppressed. No different than Juneteenth. The same thing. We were still enslaved. We were still being oppressed. We was ignorant to what was going on in America. And so
Charles Wood, is Juneteenth a good thing or a bad thing? Because when I think of Juneteenth, I think of thank God they made another holiday. In the summertime, I think of pork ribs everywhere.
No, that's not a good thing. We've been already having pork ribs everywhere for the 4th of July. So Juneteenth still just represent the oppression we went through in the past. And Juneteenth represent also for black people to reflect on history and understand what was going on back in those days and ensure that those things don't happen to us again. And Juneteenth isn't the holiday black folks need or really was looking forward to.
Marley G, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
I mean, Juneteenth means to me what it should mean to every black person in the world. I mean, it was one of them times where, like, us as a people, we overcame oppression, but oppression had overcame us for so long. So it's just, I don't believe that it should be a holiday because there's other things that the nation could have done for the black people, which one of the main things is pass that Emmett Till Lynch law that's been in the House of Senate since the 1960s. Like, that should be something that they should do. That's something that black people should have. So it could, like, teach the people who are racist against us to stop hanging us because they're still doing it, especially down south. So like, Juneteenth shouldn't be a holiday.
Yes. Charles Woods, I got a question to ask you. How disrespectful was the mural to the young lady that got killed by the police officer? Breonna Taylor was the lady. She has a basketball court, and I'm not sure what that message is. What was the message in that?
I'm not sure what the message is neither. But a miracle isn't what we are looking for in Breonna Taylor death. We are still demanding and looking for the police officers who ran into her house and killed her, so assassinated her, to be held accountable. That's what we're looking for as a people. We look for these police officers to be held accountable.
Wow. Marley G, George Floyd's killer was sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison. Was that justified? Is that a great thing for black folks? Was it a victory in between Juneteenth being made and the 4th of July being here?
Because there's still many other black men that have been murdered by the police officer. And do they get justice? No. Breonna Taylor didn't either. So George Floyd is just one of many who... But it took the whole world to get involved for the nation to realize it. It took the whole world to see what was going on. So what happens when those other people get killed that are not being seen? Do they get a do they get justice? Do they get even recognize what's going on? 9 times out of 10, no, they don't.
Charles Woods, do they get recognized at least?
They definitely don't get recognized. We still, even though the officer got 22 years, instead of us getting the George Floyd police bill passed. No, I don't believe it. So, but we still haven't got the bill passed, the George Floyd police bill passed that we've been seeking to get passed. Um, so if they pass that bill will help out those who the little man who never get recognized. Them giving us the passing Juneteenth as a holiday to distract us from what we've been seeking, what we've been fighting for and seeking. That once again, that's a slap in the face. We've been asking for, some of these bills to be passed. As she spoke about the Emmett Till lynching bill, the George Floyd bill, the police officer being held accountable in the Breonna Taylor case.
They did not pass those bills, right? But guess what bill they did pass? Marley G. They passed the Asian American bill. What does that mean to black people that happen to live close to Asians?
Okay, so I really don't like speaking upon these topics because like everybody's opinion is different. Okay, but here's my opinion. Do I feel where the American people is coming from? Yes, I do. But is that fair to us? No, I do not. Because we endured twice as much, more torture, and more everything, and then we still don't have these bills passed. It's like when they passed George Floyd's verdict, and we all seen it nationwide. There were so many police beatings and them shooting black people, like black girls, black kids, black men, like they were retaliating against us. And you guys want to pass an Asian bill, but you guys don't pass this police brutality bill? Like, make it make sense.
That's an excellent point, sis. Hey, Charles Woods, let me ask you this because the last time we talked, an Asian man actually shot a 6-year-old black child in his arm, and he was arrested and released on I do believe $30,000 bails, which is like $3,000 because you got to pay 10%, especially if you're not a felon. So he was released the next day by his family being able to come up with, I do believe, $3,000. He shot a 6-year-old black boy in his arm. He was later rearrested and charged with a more heinous crime because if I shoot a man in his arm, I do believe that's attempted murder.
Correct.
And if you shoot a 6-year-old child just because you're an Asian living in a community that's like the community that I live in is mixed, I could have an Asian neighbor tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But what I'm going to say is this. An Asian man shot a 6-year-old black child in the arm and was only given a $30,000 bail. What do you think about that, Marley G?
I mean, like, it's sad because...
But keep in mind, they did have to rearrest him.
But here's my whole thing, though. Like,
after community outrage.
Hold on. But why does Jimmy get more time than Yin Yang, and Yin Yang shot somebody and then Jimmy served a bag to pay his bills? Let's just be honest. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I want the nation to start realizing that they need to take accountability for certain people's actions and what they do.
That's very interesting, sister. I applaud you on saying those words because a lot of people don't want to get on here and say those type of words, right? But we got a life coach with us, Charles Woods, right here. And I need to know what Charles Woods had to say about that whole Asian American situation. Thinking about the Asian bill that our president, that black folks put in office, signed before he signed anything else.
You still understand this is, of course, it's all political, and that's why they changed the narrative on Kamala Harris.
She's Asian, right?
Yeah, they changed from her being the
she's
black.
Asian. She's not.
No, she's mixed.
So
But
she's mixed. She's identifying more with Asian.
Asian, right?
So you got to understand the plots and the ploys that the American government put down. So Camilla Harris is in office representing the Asian community. So it's easy
Correct.
when you have a representative in the White House, when you have a voice, a major voice, a powerful voice in the White House. It's easy for those type of bills to get passed. She's not a voice for Camilla Harris, not a voice in the White House for the Black American man and woman.
And I agree.
She's a voice for the Asian community. So the anti-Asian bill it wasn't nothing to get passed because she was right there making it happen,
Yeah.
hands on deck. So the bottom line, as far as with the Asians been enjoying way more luxury, way more freedom, way more justice. They have way more economic based communities than Black America, urban Black America, and that's just the fact. So for them to be rushing to the White House saying, they need some type of bill passed for because they being punished or they being hurt and they need some type of protection. Okay, you might do to such extent because of whatever's going on with the corona and all these type of things. But at the same token, y'all making a big noise. If y'all gonna make a big noise for y'all anti-Asian bill, then you make a big noise for the George Floyd bill as well because both of them was in for much need. And that's just the facts. The Asians not fighting for Black America.
No.
They didn't go to the table with Black America. They could have
Nope.
went to the table for both of us. They could have
Yep.
said, "Hey, we want the Asian bill passed and the George Floyd bill passed." But they didn't do that.
well, check this out. We got a miscarriage of justice that has just been done. And I want y'all to listen to this, and I want y'all to tell me about this because this is before. We all know the aftermath of what happened, but I want to hear your thoughts on what happened the day you heard this news.
Beloved TV dad, and tonight a judge now determining that he is a sexually violent predator, ordering Cosby be cuffed and immediately sent to prison.
I was so sad. I started crying. Let me just be honest, and this is why.
Whoa, you started crying?
I did, because
Oh my God.
Let's be honest. Like growing up, like we all know those kids who didn't have a dad, and like this was America's Black dad. Like especially like for the hood kids, like like the welfare kids, like the kids that didn't have anybody. Like watching the Cosby Show was everything. Like this is the Jello man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's Bill
Right.
Cosby. Like I don't personally I don't believe that. I don't believe that he drugged somebody and made them have sex with him. I don't, you can't tell me that he did. Like, that's like saying Michael Jackson did those things. Like, it's all fabricated stories. When they knew that he was fitting by NBC, boom. Now he's a rapist. Now all these women out the woodworks from 20 something years ago said that he raped me. Okay. It's what? How? You guys had all this time and now you guys want to speak up? Doesn't make
Wow.
any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense to me as well. But I do have to know how you felt at this particular time, Charles Woods. You're a life coach. Now, Bill Cosby was a great example of a dad. So how did you feel when you heard Bill Cosby was accused of these horrendous crimes? But look, there's a twist to it. I'm going to have to let you know that. How did you feel, though, at this point?
Man, at the point when Bill Cosby got arrested and sent to jail, I'll still take my same stance. My position don't change. It's not gonna ever change. It's still America destroying the legacy of another black man, another
Period.
successful Black man. That's just what it boils
Period.
down to. From Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor. You could take all our greats. Red Fox. You take all our greats. They seek to destroy their legacy when they get older. No different with R. Kelly. They seek to destroy all these. They seek to destroy all these men legacies and make them and write and when they wrote into history, that's what they wrote into history on: sexual predators, the men who rape women, men who drug women, drug abuse. They write our history. That's how they want to write our history at the end. That's just what it boils down to. I'm not insensitive to women being raped. I'm not insensitive to sexual assaults or things to that nature. But we all know that back in the 60s, back in the 50s, back in those days, that was the drug of choice, Quaaludes.
Earlier, I asked a question on my Instagram. I said, what if somebody said I gave them a shot of Hennessy and it made them do something they didn't want to do? Think about that though. I brought you a shot of Hennessy and it made you do something that you didn't want to do. Molly,
My bartender pouring it, whether you're buying it or not, then I'm not going to take it. But that's just me. Not every woman thinks like I do.
no, I'm not saying that the shot of Hennessy is laced. I'm saying that you tell the police I gave you Hennessy to get you to do some strange things.
And do you know how many women lie every day, anyways, about being raped and it doesn't happen without alcohol being involved?
Reason why Bill Cosby is arrested is because of this guy, and this is what he said. I want y'all to listen to this.
This old black man public persona that I hate. This kid's on TV. Pull your pants up, black people. I was on TV in the 80s. I can talk down to you because I had a successful sitcom. Yeah, it was great women, Bill Cosby. So I've done this bit on stage, and people don't believe. People think I'm making it up. I'm like, Bill Cosby, there's a lot of rape allegations. No, you devil.
Google Bill Cosby rapist. What do you think about that, Charles Woods? Black comedian Hannibal Buress said that Bill Cosby was a rapist before he was arrested. What do you think about that?
I mean, unless he's saying he raped him or he know a woman personally that he raped, I think.
But no. Let's put it in contrast. He was saying to Bill Cosby, why you telling black boys to pull their pants up, black rappers not to say the N-word, you're raping women.
Right.
That's the contrast in it. That's what Hannibal Buress was saying. That was the whole joke. The joke was Bill Cosby was telling black people to pull their pants up, stop saying the N-word, criticize the black movies. In fact, Bill Cosby in his day had more black comedians that hated him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That hated him in his day. His fellow comedians, Richard Pryor, Rudy Ray Moore, anybody that was a comedian in the day. What do you think, Charles Woods?
I think back in those days. I honestly tell people back in those days, you know, Bill Cosby came up in the white industry. And so he understood their culture. He understood what he had to go through to get to the level he rose to. So Bill Cosby, he signed I often say contracts. He signed a lot of contracts, meaning that he seen a lot of things. He knew a lot of things put on record with him. And so when you get that type of success when you receive that type of success in that era of time, you really, to some sense, sold your soul to the devil. And the white man looking at him like that ain't your job. That's not what you do. You just tell jokes. That's what we paid you to. That's how you became successful. We made you successful for telling jokes, for being funny, not to be a voice for your community, not to uplift your community, not to guide your community in the right direction. And that's when Bill Cosby began to receive trouble from the powers that be, when he sought to begin to educate and uplift his own community. And that's where the problem came. That's where the problem came in at.
Wow, you know, I hear that a lot from black people.
Kinder and Morgan is an oil company who Bill Cosby owned some land called Shelburne Estate. And on Shelburne Estate is where all the oil at, where they do the fracking at. And so they came in and talked to Bill Cosby and asked Bill Cosby, listen, man, we want to buy your estate. We got all this oil up under here. We want you to move. Bill Cosby told him, hey, well, I'm not selling this estate. Y'all can't come on my land fracking. Y'all can't do none of that. So the Kinder and Morgan is the one who began to invest all this money into scarring to having Bill Cosby investigated, so he could go into debt, so he could wind up going so far into debt, so he could begin to sell off some of his land.
So you telling me, breaking news that I don't know, that Bill Cosby has been infiltrated by a bigger entity and try to take away his land? What's underneath this land that they want?
Or
Bill Cosby got that much land that they would want to just take him down. He's a rich guy. He's not a poor guy that they're taking land from. But Bill Cosby has that much land that they would want to take it from him.
That is factual record. You can research that. That is called the Shelburne Estate. That is Bill Cosby's estate. that has oil up under it that the Kinder and Morgan company sought to come in and buy all this and get all this land from Bill Cosby. This is a compound.
Compound. Tell us
Yeah.
more about this compound because this is something that my audience don't know about.
Yeah, as I was stating, this is it's called the Shelburne Estates. It's a lot of land, and it's basically a big old compound that he owned. In fact, where his main house is built on, and up under and on this compound is where this oil exists that they want to come in and do the fracking and begin to extract the oil from the earth.
What
And
is
because wouldn't allow them to do that. And so
what
the Kinder and Morgan company began to have invested money into having Bill Cosby investigated from supposed to be from these rapes and things he had back to the day. So when they couldn't actually get anything on Bill Cosby, and that's how they paid off the judge that actually went in and invested had the case opened up. The lady who they were saying that he was basically time barred from giving the rape on, but they changed it to 12 years, and also went in and opened up the case he had. He went on record with basically giving them information about what had went on between him and her, and so they opened that up, and they had already. That's why he wound up getting out of jail, because they told him, hey. I mean, that's how he wound up getting out of jail. The Supreme Court ruled that he wasn't treated fair because the information they used was information that the state's attorney said they wouldn't use on him had he come forward and talked to them about.
wow, so they never mentioned this in the history books. Or I haven't heard of this. Why haven't I heard of this?
It's in the books. You can Google it right now.
So I can just go to Google and look up these. Put up what? What should I put up to here?
You can put in Kinder Morgan and / Bill Cosby, and you're gonna see it come up.
Man, oh my God. You took me someplace else. And I can't understand what I'm hearing. Bill Cosby knew he had the finance to buy NBC.
Yeah, it was never about NBC. It was about the oil.
The oil. So damn, Pennsylvania, right? Am I correct? Is that what you talking about?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has oil. I do believe you because sir, I do believe there's been dinosaurs reported all over the world, right?
Yeah.
They get crude oil from bones or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or the existence of something from so long ago can make crude oil. I'm not sure. Don't get my words twisted.
No, it don't have anything to do with the dinosaur. It just has something to do with the fracking, what you drill into the earth and extract oil from. So they go around different areas seeing where the strongest at for the oil. And so in Pennsylvania, that's a strong area. That's why they fracking. That's why they've been fracking. It's called fracking.
Could you explain what fracking is exactly?
It's just the major oil company drilling into the earth, extracting oil from it. And America does that so they could have some type of stake in the oil in oil, so they won't have to spend as much money as they have to do. Spend as much money with buying oil from Afghanistan, buying oil from Libya or Iraq or Syria, or things of that nature.
Wow.
So America been doing a lot of fracking so they could get their own resource of oil, because they've always saying that there wasn't that much oil over here in America. So that's why they do all the fracking, to find out where all the oil is at. And so in Pennsylvania, that's where a lot of the fracking goes on there, because it's a lot of oil in Pennsylvania.
So I can understand what you're saying. Bill Cosby's, his whole arrest is all about oil.
That's what it's about.
I definitely believe in what you're saying, but do you have any other example besides what you just told us? Because it's titillating. This whole story is great.
I mean, the examples, as I said, you could Google the Shelburne Estate. You could Google Kinder and Morgan. You could see how they been in the fight with Bill Cosby over his estate, trying to get his estate from him. You can see how they sought to stop all his finances, how they stopped all his shows, all his comedy shows, how they made sure they cut off all sorts of money, of revenue coming into him, and that was to get him to begin to sell off the estate, because that's like one of his major estates. That's like what he can get a lot of money from if he began to go broke. So that's what they were seeking to do: just cut off all his finances, put him in jail, cut off all resources, scar his name, scar his legacy, and put him in a debt type situation. So when you put a person in a debt type situation, then he had to sell off some of his land, and that's what Kinder and Morgan was seeking to do: jam them all the way up, cut off all. This is not just Kinder and Morgan. This is the federal government. This is not just some type of small time oil companies. These some little nobody people. We talking about major companies that's plugged in with the federal government trying to get this oil. First and foremost, I don't speak without knowledge, so don't disrespect me for saying that. I don't speak without knowledge. Anything I speak about, you could go research it, and it's backed up. I don't speak without knowledge. I don't just sit here and give you my own personal opinion, my own personal thoughts. I don't know these things. I don't know these people. I don't know these oil companies. I don't know these people. I have researched this. I have researched this. So that's why I'm telling you that you could go and research this. Kinder Morgan is a real company. The Shell Burning State is real. These are not fictitious places. These are things that actually happen. You can go read the whole itinerary of them seeking to take Bill Cosby land from him. You could go read that. That is factual. That is factual. That is fact. That is not my personal own opinion or thought. This is what I'm telling you. And when you begin to talk about oil, versus some doggone NBC, oil is a mineral. Oil is something that everybody wants. Oil is what America seeks. Oil is what got Saddam killed. Oil is what got America go murder, go bomb whole countries for. Oil is why Saddam, they took the whole Iraq from Saddam. So when you get talking about this oil, this is a whole other level of the game. This is some major stuff. They will come and ruin your whole life over oil. America will, because oil is one of the main resources. Oil is the main resource that make everything tick around here.
When I think about what you're saying, it all makes sense. Nothing about this case made sense to me until you just told me this, but it's all alleged because I can't get on my platform and say these things are true. Now, what I can say is we got this guy saying these things are true, and it's very interesting to me, and I want to hear more. But we're going to have to move on to the next subject, brother. I want to hear more about the oil under Bill Cosby.
That we've been following all morning, Savannah.
Yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson, the U.S. women's 100-meter champion who dominated at the Olympic trials, has tested positive for marijuana following that race. And this morning, that has put her Olympic future in doubt. Sha'Carri's going to be with us for an exclusive live interview just ahead.
But first, more on Richardson's remarkable journey that's drawn her comparisons to the legendary FloJo and what could be a stunning disappointment for an athlete who's won the hearts of millions. With a blazing time and standout style, Sha'Carri Richardson recently punched her ticket to Tokyo.
Richardson's going to Tokyo!
Unbelievable. The fact that I am an Olympian, no matter what is said or anything, I am an Olympian.
At the Olympic trials, the 21-year-old Dallas native won the 100-meter dash in a blazing 10.86 seconds, making her the fastest woman in America. But now it appears her Olympic dreams may have been put on hold. A U.S. Olympic source telling NBC News she failed a drug test after her finals win, testing positive for THC, the chemical found in marijuana.
What you think about that, Charles Woods? When you hear a story like that, why would she throw her life away for marijuana? Should us as Black Americans want to fight for her to play in these Olympics or not?
First and foremost, I commend her for her. I commend her for fighting through her struggles and seeking to prevail and to become a great. I don't think
yes, yeah.
As she said she is human. And furthermore, as far as with marijuana use, heck, as I've been telling everybody, if she run that fast on marijuana, you should be worried about her not being on marijuana. I mean, the way I see it, because if a person that's that fast on marijuana, she's going to be very, very dangerous off of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Secondly,
So
she's not
imagine that. Imagine that somebody that's off of marijuana being greater than somebody that's sober. Like, but you know what? The thing about this sister that I do love, she always had her lace front. She always had her different color hair. She always had her nails done. Everything like that. Like, this sister won in style. Like, she was beating people by leaps and boundaries, and she always won in style. So my thing is, why would this sister let marijuana take away millions of dollars? These rules just don't apply to her, right?
No, they just don't apply to her. But in her situation is what we're speaking about. You asking why she threw away all her fame and fortune.
Then why join the Olympics? That's what I'm saying. Why join the Olympics if you can't? Look, if one rule is you have to be at practice every week, the other rule is marijuana. That's it.
I believe she has to accountability for what she did. She spoke out about it. She spoke out about, hey, she messed up. She made a bad decision. Hey, I'm young. I made a bad decision, and I gotta suffer for that. But I'm gonna bounce back. I mean, when we young, we all make them bad decisions at 18, 19, 20 years old. We make hasty decisions. That's what we have to understand. The age frame she's in, the age frame she's at, the mind frame she's in. She's enjoying life. Mama died. She take her and I'm gonna take me a little puff, and she just get jammed up. That happens when you're young. And not only that, but we must realize in many states now, and in the world as a whole, marijuana is becoming legalized. Marijuana is being openly used. Marijuana is at a state now where it's not even no big deal no more.
We dealing with the Olympics. This is worldwide. When it comes to the Olympics and in the worldwide community, black folks do not smoke or do drugs at an alarming rate compared to other people. It's only in America.
When Michael Phelps did all his weed, he was the greatest. He was great American swimmer. He did all his weed. They came with the sob story for him. Oh, it's Michael Phelps. Give him a pass. Michael Phelps. He was stressing. He smoked all this weed, got caught on camera with the bongs and everything, and it was swept up under the rug.
It wasn't swept under the rug. This lady is under suspension for 30 days. He was under suspension for 3 months, bro. Michael Phelps, she only under suspension for 30 days. What happened to her happened right before the Olympics. What happened to him happened after he won the medals. Happened before she won the Olympics, right?
I know
so
that.
Listen. Before she had to go, she failed a drug test. He took the drug test. He passed it. Then he won the medals. And then he got caught on camera. He didn't even get caught with drugs in his system. She got caught with drugs in her system, bro. That was the difference. She got caught with drugs in her system. When he took his piss test, he didn't have drugs in his system. The only thing they caught him with was the video. They were trying to extort him for the video. They didn't catch it in his system, and he wasn't swimming when it happened. That's why she stood up. She stood up better than any NBA player. Any NBA black male would have got up there, got to crying and said he disappointed his people. She stood up and took her weight.
I hear you.
Some countries don't have the technology to test marijuana and the effects on athletes. We now have males in the Olympics acting as females, and that's an unfair thing. We got this Russian lady that's a weightlifter, lifting weights, going against women. Was born a man. What do you think about that, man? Russian weightlifter, born a man, lifting weights.
As far as a man, competing with the females, it's just that simple. I believe for it to be unfair, that shouldn't be going on. That's just something that shouldn't be happening.
How big is the skull of a baby? That's a different class of exercising strength, and endurance, or whatever you want to call it.
Now we should blame President Obama for that.
What?
because because making all the transgender laws and all the and agreeing with all the LGBT laws and agreeing for all, and allowing all the equality, the passing the equality bills for the LGBT community, saying that hey, they deserve the right to be in all these events. They deserve the right to be in the army. They deserve the right to be in the Olympics. They deserve the right to be a part of all these things, transgenders and all. So that goes back again, back to politics, back to these laws being passed, back to all of that that connects to allowing these people into these type of entities to perform like they are performing. And so creates a this balance, which is what we at with America as far as with the homosexuality world, with the transgender world, with the LGBT, how strong the LGBT community is. So it's hard to come back. It's hard to come back that in America in this time and that they enacted these laws. Once again, we could Google this and check. Did President Obama pass these laws for the LGBT community? Did they pass these transgender bills? Did he pass the bill for women men to marry men and women to marry women? Didn't all this get passed on his shift? Yes.